Keep it local. What does it mean to me? I guess appreciating all the things that like San Francisco has to offer and exploring that.
That was Laine Wieseman, half of the human team that publishes 415 Zine. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco, a podcast about artists, activists, and small businesses that make this city so special. In this episode, Laine and her publishing partner, Alfredo Signs, pick up where they left off in part 1. They share the origin story of 415 Zine, which celebrates and uplifts artists around the city. Speaking of artists, I wanted to let you all know about the next Storied SF Art Party. The Keep It Local show opens on Friday, May 23rd at Babylon Burning in South of Market. There will be art by 6 amazing women artists, food from a couple of rad women chefs, and music by Kitten on the Keys. Go to our Instagram or Blue Sky bios for links to donations and food tickets. Okay, on with this episode. Here's Alfredo Signs, followed by Laine Wieseman.
So, as we were working together as artists, working for the same company, eventually we both left that company, but we stayed.
The catering company?
Yeah, the catering company.
Got it.
We stayed in touch. I think everybody kind of continued. We were friends, so we all stayed in touch, continuing our own artistic journeys individually, and supporting each other by going to each other's shows and whatnot. And then eventually, Laine and I ended up meeting up at a gallery for the business strategy. Am I right?
No, you went, we both we both knew the gallery.
Yes.
Hunt and Gather.
Out in
on
the Sunset.
Irving and 12th Avenue, yeah.
Her last name is my last name.
Yes,
Boom.
yes it is. Hunt and Gather. Dee Dee Hunt was very supportive, but she put on a goal work. She puts on goal workshops, and you went to it.
I did.
And you told me about it.
I did.
And I think that's when you said, you want to be my accountability buddy?
I don't think I asked you.
Oh.
I told you.
Oh, okay, probably.
I mean, it could be obvious, but do you want to tell folks what an accountability buddy is?
So yeah, in this workshop, it was way back in 2022, just in the middle of several unprecedented events. We had a list of top 25 things we wanted to accomplish in 2023, and then you narrow it down to 10 and then to 5, and within that you get somebody to hold you accountable to your list. And I didn't really know anybody at this session, nor was there anybody I was really vibing with, so to speak. And so Laine, being familiar with the gallery and into that kind of businessy type stuff, hey, what you doing? You want to make sure I do my stuff, and I'll make sure you do your stuff. So I think I sent you my packet or whatever, the printout, and you kind of did a loose.
Yeah.
How you copied the format.
Yeah.
And then
setting goals.
Yeah, set goals, and then we were meeting once a week, or more. Yeah, minimum once a week, having a coffee
nearly.
To go over our goals. I wanted to build a website and then register as a business. And
he's rolling his eyes.
Yeah, and then there was things that she wanted to accomplish as well, and so we helped each other do that. And
one of yours was
shit.
Networking.
Y'all are adulting at this point.
Networking was a big one for me because photography and painting for me were very solitary. I used to paint on people's shit, so I wasn't trying to share that with everybody. And photography, kind of a lone man's game.
Is photography something you both already did?
Alfredo's a photographer.
Yeah. Okay.
I just, iPhone photographer. My own kind of, my own perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, I picked up photography along the way. And then I got super into it in 2018, and then I switched to film, and I haven't stopped doing it.
Okay, so, film. I love it.
Yeah, shout out to Oscar's Photo Lab. Those people are amazing.
Yeah.
So with us being accountability partners, I had a kick-ass 2023 and knocked my list out by August.
Of 5 or how many was
20,
it?
all of them.
Oh,
Like my
damn.
whole list. Like I wanted X amount of original paintings, done. Shoot X amount of rolls of film, doubled it. Be in X amount of group shows, check. But networking was kind of hanging
That
there.
was all my fault. I was the accountability, so I made it happen.
Yeah, so
No, I'm just kidding.
she was pushing, but the networking didn't have a finish line, and so while we were on Haight Street at Gus's having a cup of coffee, I had this idea, maybe at some point during the week, and I got some samples of a newspaper, thinking, why don't we make like a like an Irish Times, a little local paper type thing of related to art, because I was finding about all these shows, and but it was after the fact, after people were posting after they went, and I'm like, how the people were fucking finding out about these things? Like who
Before,
how do you fucking know all these people?
Yep.
And because I wasn't part of that circle. I wasn't in on the art crowd. I was just a dude making art. Day job kind of thing,
right?
And then she kind of looked at me and said, "Say that again," and I was like, "Oh man, hearing's the first to go, right?" So I was starting to get concerned, and so I said it again. She says, "Well, I had the idea to make a magazine."
The same week.
Yeah. So we had independently we had roughly the same idea, so we decided to run with it, and so we did.
We sprinted.
Yeah, we cannonballed in. And we knew kind of how we wanted to look, how we wanted to feel, how we wanted it to present to people, and then we would just, what do we call them? Like truck meetings. Anytime we were driving around, going to different shows, we would just constantly, we were just talking about it, like the type of paper, and like, okay, how do we want it to look? Well, we don't want to charge anybody because I wouldn't want to be charged either, and it's like
for artist submissions.
Yeah, for artist submissions, and it's like,
right.
well, do we want to like have like advertisements? Well, like no, like we don't. Well, we can get by without it. Let's not. And so we kind of just hashed it all out between a couple of notebooks, a lot of caffeine, and so when it came down to actually making one. It took us like 7 months to make the first. 7 months to make the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the origin story goes back to Gus's on Haight, like the original.
That's where it was. That's
love
where it started
that.
to.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
It started to come to
these
life.
papers. I was like, wait, you want to do what? It was just so crazy that I had a similar idea that same week. It's like, okay, something's happening.
Something's here.
Like, this sounds like it's meant to be made.
Had either of you done anything? Have you done,
No,
as kids done zines or anything? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Coloring books, about as close as I've been.
You made coloring books?
No, yeah, I drew in them.
You participated in
Yeah, I dabble on the
books.
back of the menu at Denny's, but I mean that's no. And had I known the amount of work, maybe I would have second guessed it because I had no idea how time consuming it was going to be.
Right.
So it was good, I think, for me not to know.
I warned you.
Yeah, but I didn't believe you.
I said, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
That was all I said.
How did the idea of what it was actually going to be, can you talk about that process? Because wanting to do a magazine about art or wanting to do a newspaper-ish or whatever, that's one thing. But then like honing that into what it became.
I had brainstormed some ideas of things I could do, and the magazine was one that I kind of was marinating on. I was like, okay, well, I see art magazines out that are specific to a style, like a genre. I was like, I don't really want to do that, but it would be cool if it was it was San Francisco based, like that was the criteria, right? That would be really fun. So then it didn't have to be a specific style of art. We could really explore, all sorts of art and different artists and such. And then I feel like I remember having the idea for the 415 part. I know you're, Alfredo's, a native, proud native, so he's like, yeah, 415. And I just remember like being out on a walk and just sort of like coming up with, okay, what, like, how could we connect the 4, the 1, and the 5? Oh, it could be like a different like section. Could be 4 of something, 1 of something, 5 of something. And we just kept going back and forth with different ideas. Alfredo was like, has to be perfect bound. It's like, all right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
No staples.
Mm-hmm.
And he loved the feel of like the San Franciscan magazines that have that soft touch cover.
Glorious.
Oh, that is. I love that shit too.
Sexy feel.
Yeah.
We might not have memories, but we have tactile.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we just kept going back and forth with things, right?
Yeah, I mean it's. Yeah, I mean I think I everywhere I went I picked up a magazine and was just like,
Oppo research.
Yeah. Just like, all right, what's this all about?
Mm-hmm.
And I think for us having a geographic kind of boundary instead of an artistic style boundary, it was just huge because there's so much here that there's a lot of publications that are obviously tied to a style, and for us it's whatever floats our boat. And then as we continue to talk, photography, it's like, well, it's kind of what I do around here. Yeah. And so that was also a thing, and we kind of laid out parameters, and then it's like, okay, well, art, what does that mean? It's like, well, everything, ceramicists and oil painters and acrylics and paper cutters and whatever that may be. And then I think it was just some trial and error of how we were going to do it.
How lay it out, yeah. I remember I wanted to support artists. That was part of the, not charging submissions. I don't really want to pay submissions for things, so it's like, let's just feature them. Let's show. So in the 4 section of the zine, we have 4 snapshot artists where we show 2 pages of their work, so just like full color, like you can see their work, and we broke it down with a who, what, why, where, information, a little bit of information about them, so people could learn a little bit, read their artist statement, and then go find them if they enjoy their work, get to know more about them. And the one was pretty easy about the interview, because we only wanted to do 1 interview. We didn't,
because it's a lot.
Because it's a lot.
Yeah.
We didn't want to, go crazy with it. And
then y'all are transcribing too, right? Or I don't know. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we have the 5 city art scenes. So different places you can go explore art around San Francisco, and it really ranges, from like little hole in the walls art bars, like Madrone Art Bar, to big white wall galleries, just exploring all of San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. Well, they don't let you touch anything.
Yeah. Or anybody.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Frowned upon.
Yeah. So that's the idea.
That's the format.
That developed. Was that part of the 6 months, or do you want to talk about what it that was? What was happening in that 6 months?
I think the 6 months was inception to publication.
Till we get those puppies in our hands.
Yeah, I'm surprised that our printer, once we decided on one, just didn't kick us to the curb, because, I'm a little more, what are you going to call it, like laid back when it comes to things, and Laine, God bless her heart, is all, it dabbles in the details. So we went back and forth on a lot of proofs, hard proofs.
Yeah,
from the printer.
Your baby.
Yeah. And so there was a lot of phone calls, and
well, it was our first time, the printer too, so we got to learn that whole process.
I was there. I watched it. I lived it.
Is it a local printer?
No.
We can take that out then.
Well, no.
Scratch that.
Yeah. I wish it could have been.
It's. I mean.
I wish it could have been.
In the States.
It was anybody within 300 miles was just, because part of our deal was that it was the affordability.
Sure.
So it's easy to produce something and slap a $25 price tag on it, but we knew we wanted it to be, right around the $12 that it is. Mm-hmm. So the kid going to art school can grab one, and the collector, obviously can grab one as well. Mm-hmm. So that the attainability of it, the access was huge. Because not naming any names, I picked up a zine the other day, flipped through it, and I was like, cool, I'm taking this home purely out of support, right? Mm-hmm. Just for the love of the game. didn't even look. And they rang me up, and I choked.
Yeah.
And I said, oh. And I took it home. But that's exactly what I didn't want
for your own.
For ours. Yeah. Is I want, we want the value. I mean, we have the soft touch lamination. We've got the 80-pound matte paper. We use the CMYK, the printing file, and it's done really, really, really well. Not only to have a quality product, but to showcase these artists in the best possible way that we can, because that's something that we would want.
Right.
Like, as a photographer and mediocre at best painter, that's what I would want for my stuff. It's like, yeah, dude, that looks amazing. Like, we're representing the colors well. It's not just like we pasted it and made copies down at the postal annex. Like, no, dog, we made this. Yeah. And, so...
It's a gosh dang publication. It's a publication. Like, it's a for real thing.
They're almost like little books.
Yeah?
Yeah. They're kind of in their own little realm. Right? They're like a mini magazine. You can call them a zine, but they're so,
Yeah, we got lucky that 415 zine, like, domain name and all that wasn't taken.
It was meant to be.
It might have been 20 years ago, but doesn't matter. It's yours now.
Because the only thing we could find that was like 415 magazine or something like that was like from an episode of like a TV show that was from like 1991, and it was like a one-shot picture of a still, and it's at 415 magazine or something like that.
Wasn't Party of Five, was it?
It might have been.
I mean, 91.
It might have been because it was the only thing we could find while we were like Googling around and So, that's another part of our serendipitous journey through the zine. And we use that word a lot and we laugh about it, but because we're so aware of the cues that the universe gives us, it's just kind of kept us on our path, man. And it's been great.
But also, if I may, like, you guys are the real thing. You're artists who are doing this thing. So the fact that you do call it a zine and it's kind of a magazine... I love that about it. Yeah. You're not pretending to be something you're not. Like it's always been about supporting artists. And promoting and getting them out there and get the word out. How many times in that 6 months were you like, wait, are we really doing this?
Man, I was my foot was on the pedal so hard. I just like, we gotta do this to make it happen. Yeah,
we were both on it. It was just kind of like, all right.
Never a question.
No. I mean, there was the question of maybe the direction, because what's awesome between the two of us is that our tastes are very different, backgrounds very different, right? So it would be weird if we didn't come together and like not necessarily always agree on what we were going to do, right? That would be weird.
Yeah.
So when we would come and say, okay, hey, well, what about this? And well, what about that? Those are great to have. Now maybe not in the moment, but at the end of the day, we both understand it's what's best for the zine, what's best to put out there, and so far it's worked. But I don't think not making it hasn't crossed my mind. I mean, I wish there was more time in a quarter, because we decided quarterly, thinking that there was more time in a quarter, but no, there ain't.
That's like 4 seconds.
Yeah.
It really is. It's crazy.
It's like
it gets worse too as you get older.
Yeah, so it's like maybe we get that 3 days, 4 days to breathe, and then it's like, all right.
Next one.
Yeah, she's got a checklist. It's just like, dun 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 dun. We get all these things done. And then we publish and we have an event and then it's done, and then it's like you clear the check marks and it's like, fuck, back to the top. And we just started checking those again with the interview yesterday. And so,
speaking of hangovers, you don't even get to enjoy the hangover.
Yeah. But for me, there's a lot less constructive, worse things that I could be dealing with my time. So I get to do this. It's a choice. It's an amazing outlet. And just circling back to the networking, there's no finish line on that.
Exactly.
And now maybe I know a couple people.
Yeah, that happens.
So
how awesome was it to get that first issue?
It was so cool. It was so cool.
Whose house, or did it come to one of your houses? Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, I came to Fredo's house, but you brought it over in the truck, and you were outside. And we're like, come take a look.
Because you're a good friend.
I let her open it.
You're a good friend.
I wouldn't know her the end of it if I opened it, but
yeah.
And what we learned with the first one is we did an all black cover with soft touch, and so lesson learned that
it shows us some fingerprints.
It shows some fingerprints, but
it was like a Spinal Tap
sleek.
cover in the movie, all black.
Well, it had the 415 logo on it.
Okay, right.
But it was beautiful. Great to look at, but once you handled it, it was like, damn. But
we can't talk shit on our first issue.
We learned.
We did learn.
So
it's your it's like your oldest child.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, you're allowed.
Yeah. They always have a hard time.
Yeah. Not like we dropped them.
Yes, it's beautiful. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you said that, I don't know, what hangover, honeymoon, whatever, like of having the first one done, and then it's like boom, now we're doing another one, and we're just gonna keep.
We were like, oh shit, we gotta do it again.
Yeah,
But luckily we had 7 months the first time, and then 3 months the second time.
That's dramatically less.
But so much of the initial creation was laying it out and
learning curve.
But laying out the whole zine, like how we would organize it. And since we had that down, I was like, oh, okay, let's just not recreate that, but we had a layout for it.
It's a template.
Yeah.
It's a template
to use moving forward.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it's a pretty sweet little template.
When we learned how to use our template.
Yeah.
Because we were also using a program that, I wasn't familiar with, so there was a lot of, we used Canva.
Okay, yeah.
And part of it was, hey, Laine, how do I do this? How do I do that? So.
I'd had some previous experience with it, but we learned a lot.
It's not exactly plug and play, and nor should it be, but it's about as close as it's ever going to get. And now that I know some of them little shortcuts, I'm a little more useful on the old email machine, so we're getting there.
And as we record, I'm so sorry that this can't go out before next Friday.
Oh, I know, right?
But I think it's okay to talk about that you're coming up on an anniversary.
Yes, our 1-year anniversary.
Amazing.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
It's so cool that we have that first year under our belt. We've learned so much. We've met so many people.
How many issues have you put out so far?
5. This is we're on 5. And we've already started with number 6.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. So 1 a quarter. So we have our first year and then the first one of the new year. Pretty exciting. And we have a little shindig at Bender's.
Yep.
They hang art. We actually have a little art show there. Alfredo put together.
Nice.
So we have some of our own art up.
Nice.
Yeah, with some friends.
I have one more thing I want to talk about, and that is every season on Storied, there's a theme. The theme this season that we're in is Keep It Local. I mean, y'all's lives, everything we've talked about leading up to right now has been about that. But what does that little phrase mean to you?
Keep it local? Mm-hmm. Alfredo, you're up.
Keep it local. Buy local. Live local. Work local. I do it all.
I like that. Keep it local. What does it mean to me? I guess appreciating all the things that San Francisco has to offer and exploring that.
That was 415 Zine's Laine Wieseman and Alfredo Sainz. Find them on social media and their website, 415zine.com. Check back next week to meet Keep It Local artist Miss Stencil. Episode 14 drops next Tuesday wherever you get podcasts. Music for Storied San Francisco was created, curated, and produced by Otis McDonald. Aaron Lim of Bitch Talk Podcast is our contributing producer. And the show is produced and hosted by me, Jeff Hunt. Now in the 7th season, we have more than 250 episodes available wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out the refreshed website, which I'm still working hard to repopulate with all the episodes. That's storiedsf.com. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review the show. You can also rate us on Spotify. Find us on Instagram and Blue Sky at storiedsf. Thanks for listening. Stay safe, stay weird, stay informed, keep your eyes open, and we'll see you next time on Storied San Francisco. We acknowledge and respect the first humans of the unceded land we call San Francisco, the Ramaytush Ohlone. We condemn the genocide of these and other tribes across the Western Hemisphere. We honor their legacy and history, and we support rematriation and sovereignty efforts.
This podcast is a proud member of the BFF.FM podcast network. Learn more at podcasts.bff.fm.
BFF.FM, best frequencies forever.